I call it convenient diversity. Plain talk, bad manners. It's convenient diversity. If in the diversity in AP classes in the South Orange Maplewood School District should not be predominantly white. Honors classes in the South Orange Maplewood School District should not be prominently white. The lower level classes in the South Orange Maplewood School District should not be prominently kids of color. The gifted and talented program should not be dominantly white. So when we talk about diversity, let's truly have diversity where every creed and race can find an equal place. So by taking an exemption from low-income housing requirements in exchange for cash, that means to say that it's creating less diversity, because we know the possibility when we talk about low income, we know what we are talking about. In a 5-0 vote, the Township Committee approved an ordinance on first reading that allows the changes to the plans being proposed by JMF Properties, which is set to replace the post office with a retail housing mix. The township is still negotiating a price for the land, which the township owns and currently leases to the Postal Service for $75,000 a year. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's just part of maplewoodian.com for my good friend Joe Strop. Now let's go on. What is it with the new trash collection fee? Some trash customers in Maplewood are getting a new fee in their quarterly bill with no real explanation. The change from Waste Industry states it's an environmental fee and represents about 7% of the original pickup fee, according to Waste Industries official. A Waste Industry official who spoke with maplewoodian.com said some customers did not get the explanatory letter with their most recent bills as they should have. With the charge, the quarterly rate for 2-can twice weekly pickup runs about $90.63 with a $6.21 environmental fee. A check with Waste Management, the other trash pickup firm serving Maplewood, finds they also charge such a fee, and their quarterly rate is still higher than Waste Industries at $112 with a $9.03 environmental and fuel fee. See? So, as much as some people believe that they got it good, you do have it good. In South Orange and Maplewood, we pay in order for them to take our garbage. In some communities, you do not pay for them to take your garbage. So, I guess living in South Orange and Maplewood has its privilege. Time check. The time is approximately 9:33 p.m. That time check is brought to you by All Star Motors, providing you with services you can trust. They provide you with ASC certified mechanics, New Jersey State inspection facilities, used car sales, authorized police towing, and emission repair facilities. You can call them at 973-762-8771. That's 973-762-8771. Coming up next, Obama, I Will Miss Stuart Scott.
Do you want your kid to run faster with better running form and conditioning for his or her sport? Then Running Development Academy is the place for him or her. Our training packages fix their form and make them run faster. How about training to run a marathon or just run faster in your respective event? Maybe you just want to learn to run properly and lose weight in the process. Our trainers, a former 800 meters track Olympian and an 8 times world record holder in Masters Track and Field, will get you there. Don't delay. Sign up today at runningdevelopmentacademy.com or contact us at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444 to learn more.
For community news, sports, and opinions, call us at 973-327-3626 or log on to SoMore.org. You're listening to the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience.
Want to learn piano for kids? Then I recommend Wendy Goldstein School of Piano. Wendy Goldstein has been offering piano lessons since 1993 and teaches piano in a very natural way. An alumni of Manhattan School of Music, Wendy creates customized lesson plans for each student and helps bring music alive. Wendy provides you a convenient location, the best value, and the most fun way to learn piano. All ages are welcome and the first lesson is always free. Have questions? Call Wendy at 201-207-5169.
This is the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. We want to hear from you at 973-327-3626 or log on to SoMore.org to let us know your opinion.
Are you looking for a professional logo design for your website, brand, or business? Then we are the company you are looking for. We are professional graphic designers, and with our skills, we will design a perfect, high-quality logo for you. We work with standout concepts, nice contrasts, and color balance. Please let us know your text for use in logo, web address, color of logo that you want. We will design 3 variations of your logo for you to choose from for only $99.95, with 100% refund of your $99.95 if you're not satisfied. We provide fast delivery and professional design. We also design any size web banner ad for $35. Call us at 347-674-1680. That's 347-674-1680. An operator is standing by to take your call.
You're listening to the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. For more, go to SoMore.org to participate in the discussion.
You know, it's weeks like this when you do have to ask, what is going on?
Yeah.
What is going on, Ferguson, Missouri? You know what I'm saying?
Well, what's going on in America, and has been going on for a long time, is, this country, one of our original sins has been racism and slavery. And we still haven't figured out how to solve that problem. Slavery, was around for 400 years. And then we went into a period of Jim Crow, which was basically an extension of that. And in many ways, the legal system, the criminal justice system, has found ways to perpetuate Jim Crow. There's a book by Michelle Alexander called The New Jim Crow, which talks about the criminal justice system and how it's basically, in so many ways, crushed black and brown communities for a long time. And it's been a pretty straight continuum from slavery through now to where black and brown people are just treated differently in this country, particularly when it comes to criminal justice, particularly when it comes to incarceration and the war on drugs. And add to that the fact that we've given our police these military-style weapons, and it's a mess. It's a mess. But this is not new. These military-style weapons are only exacerbating it. But this was happening with Bull Connor, in the 60s. So it's happening with lynchings well before the 60s, where, there were all kinds of extra legal ways for black folks to get killed and for black bodies to not be valued in this country, and that hasn't really changed enough. And so we see things like unarmed black men getting shot on a regular basis. It's like every 28 hours I saw the statistic that there's some cop or vigilante that kills an unarmed black man. And so when that's happening, it just shows you that we still have a long way to go. And, we can do better. And hopefully we will.
We are back with you. It's in the Village with Anselm Marjorie on the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. Coming to you every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. That's Monday through Friday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. And that voice you just heard, ladies and gentlemen, was John Legend on why blacks are treated in a certain way. Now, he just mentioned something by Michelle Alexander. Let's see if we can bring you a little bit of that. It's called the New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Color Blindness. Let's see if we can get that for you.
President Obama's election a year and a half ago continues to be lauded for ushering in a new era of colorblindness. The very fact of his presidency is regarded by some as the final nail in the coffin of Jim Crow. Yet today there are more African Americans under correctional control, whether in prison or jail, on probation or on parole, than there were enslaved in 1850. And more African American men are disenfranchised now because of felon disenfranchisement laws than in 1870. A new book by legal scholar and civil rights advocate Michelle Alexander argues that although Jim Crow laws have been eliminated, the racial caste system it set up was not eradicated. It's simply been redesigned, and now racial control functions through the criminal justice system.
We're joined now from Columbus, Ohio by Michelle Alexander, author of the new book, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness. Her latest article exploring how the war on drugs gave birth to what she calls a permanent American undercaste. It's available at TomDispatch.com. She's a former director of Racial Justice Project at the ACLU of Northern California. She now holds a joint appointment at the Kirwan Institute for the Study of Race and Ethnicity and the Moritz College of Law at Ohio State University. Michelle Alexander, welcome to Democracy Now! Nearly half of America's young black men are behind bars or have been labeled felons for life. That's an astounding figure. Also, what does it mean in terms of their rights for the rest of their lives?
Yes, thanks largely to the war on drugs, a war that has been waged almost exclusively in poor communities of color, even though studies have consistently shown that people of color are no more likely to use or sell illegal drugs than whites. The war on drugs waged in these ghetto communities has managed to brand as felons millions of people of color for relatively minor, non-violent drug offenses. And once branded a felon, they're ushered into a permanent second-class status, not unlike the one we supposedly left behind. Those labeled felons may be denied the right to vote, are automatically excluded from juries, and may be legally discriminated against in employment, housing, access to education, public benefits, much like their grandparents or great-grandparents may have been discriminated against during the Jim Crow era.
Well, you mentioned that in the war on drugs, 4 out of 5 people arrested have actually been arrested for use of drugs, not for possession or use of drugs, not for the sale of drugs. Could you talk about how both political parties joined in this increasing incarceration around drug use?
That's right. The war on drugs, contrary to popular belief, was not declared in response to rising drug crime. Actually, the war on drugs, the current drug war, was declared in 1982 by President Ronald Reagan at a time when drug crime was actually on the decline. A few years later, crack cocaine hit the streets in poor communities of color across America, and the Reagan administration hired staff to publicize crack babies, crack mothers, crack dealers in inner city communities in an effort to build public support and more funding and ensure more funding for the new war that had been declared. But the drug war had relatively little to do with drug crime even from the outset. The drug war was launched in response to racial politics, not drug crime. The drug war was part of the Republican Party's grand strategy, often referred to as the Southern Strategy, an effort to appeal to poor and working class white voters who were felt vulnerable, threatened by the gains of the civil rights movement, particularly desegregation, busing, and affirmative action. And the Republican Party found that it could get Democrats, white, working class poor Democrats, to defect from the Democratic New Deal coalition and join the Republican Party within weeks of the Reagan administration's, publicity campaign around crack cocaine, images of black crack users and crack dealers flooded, our nation's television sets and forever changed,